Oh, no, no, no. You're not going to have power over me. I do what I want to do. That's the topic of today's video. My name's Kilimanjaro, and I'm going to be bringing it to you. When I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about a few sayings that people say along the lines of, you shouldn't let anybody live in your head rent free. Don't let them change you. Don't let them have power over you. So forth and so forth. So on. I want to talk about both sides of that coin. You look at it this way. Just like how I came in this video and I stated I'll do what I want to do. One side of the coin is you could chalk up bad experiences, being done wrong, mistreatment, all as experience. So you'll know what you like and you dislike, what roads you want to go down and what roads you don't want to go down, how you want to shape you for a better you. You have that choice in that, right? I'm going to use this for an example. Think about it like this. You're doing stocks and bonds and moving your money around in the stock market, right? Say, for instance, I know nothing about stocks. Don't take any of this as stock advice. It's merely an example. Say, for instance, you're investing in one particular type of stock just because you like the company. You believe in them, right? Stock starts plummeting. You're losing money. It gets to a point where you're losing money over a long course of time. This is just not a dip in this particular stock. You're consistently losing money. Now, it's your money. Before we put it in there, it's your money. You can do as you please. You have the choice of either leaving your money in there and keep paying into it in hopes that one day it'll be on the incline, or you can just take your money, go elsewhere, play nicely with somebody else. It's up to you, right? Nobody's judging you for that. It's all on what you want to do. So if somebody was looking at you and say, oh, well, you pulled your stock out prematurely, they went up, this has changed you, or whatever. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish with your stock. You may say, hey, look, it's been on a 2-3 year decline. I've consistently been paying in. This is at a loss. I don't care what it wants to do. I don't care if it wants to go on the incline. Enough is enough. I'm going to move it over here. Or you may be a person that you may be on the fence and you're like, hey, it's worth it for the long haul. It's up to you. It's your judgment call. Nobody makes that call unless, I guess, if it's possible. Well, yeah, I'm sure it's possible. Stock closes and they tell you you have to move your money elsewhere. It's the same thing with relationships and those sayings that I started out this video with, talking about people having power over you, so forth and so on. Like I stated, I think more often than not, people get caught up in the catchy phrases and sayings because they sound good. And if you follow this channel, I've put some of those things to the test and some of the topics that we've talked about to see if it's really feasible to go by some of these things. So with that being said, back on this topic. Well, we always been on this topic. I was just giving you an example. Back on this topic, people having control over you. Say we have a relationship going on. Not talking about an intimate relationship, friendship, family, whatever. I consider it toxic. Or, well, we'll just go with the toxic for a moment. I consider it toxic. You have a choice, I have a choice. We both have a choice in what we bring to that relationship and what we put on the table. We both decide when it's time to fold, if any. Or if we want to proceed on with keeping that relationship moving. That's the reason why we keep coming to the table and we're having that unwritten agreement that we're sharing this table with one another. Sometimes you might not even sit down and have a conversation with that. You get caught up in your day-to-day life. Things go on. It's no ill feelings. You're just doing you. Nothing with that relationship, right? But sometimes you have to make judgment calls on, okay, is this either good or bad for me? So like I said, we're gonna stay on that toxic for a moment. I deem the relationship toxic. You may not deem it toxic. You may think that it's fine. You may think that it's fine because it's one-sided. It's all in your favor. Let me explain on how you choosing to pull out or put your time elsewhere it doesn't bring any type of significance to that stating, oh, well, if I pull out of a relationship, it's like I'm giving that person power over me because they're changing who I am and what. No. It's my time. I choose what I want to do with it. If I deem the relationship toxic and I go, hey, not that I'm cutting you off, because like I said, relationships are delicate. I've already taken enough time just explaining this relationship for this example. But I go, you know what? On this toxicity, not cutting you off, I would just rather put my time elsewhere. It could be in anything. It doesn't have to be another person. It could be achieving goals, just positive, healthy things. You're doing that. How does the person have control over you? How are you playing slave to their mentality? I tell you what, with that example, put it to the test. Tell me how you feel in 6 months. 6 months of dealing with that toxicity and that relationship, or 6 months you doing whatever it is that's healthy. You tell me how you feel at the end of each day. That's what I mean by putting it to the test. Okay, let's talk about the other side of the coin before I bounce back over and we compare and contrast the two. Say, for instance, we have a relationship, we have a falling out. I'm mad. I'm so mad, I'm going to show you something. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to make you sweat. Right? That's where some of those sayings may come into play. I'm mad. I'm up off of here. What I'm doing is, instead of doing like I stated in that first example of me taking my time and doing something positive, I'm talking about you. I keep rehashing what went down. It's fueling my anger, my motivation. This is how people end up living in your head rent-free. Now we're talking about them having power up over you, them changing who you are. That leads me into another topic on here, another discussion on here that I wanted to state in regards to coming out of character, changing who you are. Remember when I talked about earlier how even when you have bad experiences that are just completely bad and you don't care to ever revisit them again, and you chalk it up to experience and you move on, okay? That's a part of building your character, right? Hold on. Just like I use with the stock market. I'm talking about it's your choice in what you want to do and how you want to maneuver, right? Same thing as you're doing with that relationship with the toxicity and everything. You're choosing on what you want to do, what's in the best interest of you, because you're going in the, hey, this is about me. I do have a vested interest in this, right? You don't want to let somebody else make you do things that you wouldn't normally do or change your character for the worse, to where not only are you letting a little piece of you die inside, but the people who deal with you suffer from around you. That could bring a little bit of truth to that, other people having power up over you. Case in point. Say we're just in that example of what I'm talking about. Person has irritated me greatly. Okay, it's not enough that I'm going to cut them off, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to not only to ensure that this doesn't happen again with anybody else, I'm going to let that little piece of me die up off me. You know what? I'm not going to be as nice to people as I normally am. Now we're getting into that, them having more control up over you, them actually changing you. You're not going to be as nice as you usually are. Hey, but you do know it's people out there that are just as nice, if not nicer, than you were initially, right? So what about if you come across a person like that in your path that was similar to how you used to be? They're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on a relationship because you let this person change you for the worse. Now, since I kind of put everything on the table, I know there's a lot of things that we put on the table there. And this is a more advanced video on the things than the things that we normally discuss. You have to weigh out your options. Now do you see why I stated in earlier videos, relationships are delicate. It's hard for me to say in a video or to oversimplify, like you may see little sayings on social media. It's just easy just to cut people off. It's easy to walk away. No, you can't just slap that label on any relationship. You can't just slap on, oh, well, they got control over you if you do X, Y, and Z. No, it's a lot of factors that go into that. And I just wanted to put this out on the table to show on how it does and it does not have to be. Letting you know what your options are. I wanted to go back on this a little bit more when I'm talking about with them allowing them to change your character. Hey, you know what? I'm not going to be as nice. I'm not going to be as nice to people because, look, I'm tired of being misused, mistreated. I'm tired of being railroaded. Okay. You seems like to me you've taken a self-assessment and seeing that there's some things that you could stand to change about yourself. Right? Being nice doesn't necessarily have to go out the door. Maybe you could recognize on who are these people that's taking advantage of you. Are you overreaching? Are you overreaching in your relationships? Are you just putting a little bit too much up on the table? I'm not talking about as far as information-wise. Are you being a little bit too accommodating? And what I mean by too accommodating, are you being a people pleaser? See, that's real easy for people to latch on to. People pleasers. You'll do anything to please me. Then it starts being about that person being pleased. Now, if you've determined that there's something that you need to change up about you, you need to remove that stock and maybe place it elsewhere. Or maybe you might want to just pull out of the stock market for a moment and just do whatever it is with your money till you're ready to dive back in. Same thing on these relationships. They don't have to have control over you. It's just on what are you doing? How are you viewing them? That's what matters. What you're getting out of it. I talked about it in another video when I'm talking about don't let people pull you out of character. That's slightly on what I'm talking about in here. You don't want to let people change you for the worse. If there's some improvements that you need to make, then fine. By all means, make those improvements. But on the same token, you don't have to allow people to remain in your circle that's not doing you any good, or relationships that keep sending you on the decline or just sending you way off in the boondocks. Like I stated earlier, I challenge you to take anything that you've deemed toxic, that's just utterly, you don't know how to get out of it. Find something positive and healthy. Tell me how you feel after dealing with that positive and healthy for an extended amount of time. I think I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Trying to think if I have anything else to add to it. Like I stated, and I'm being redundant here, you want to put these things to the test and see how they really make sense, how they fit in on in your life. And I just think that it may be a little short-sighted to just go all the way on one end of the spectrum, all the way on the other end with these particular sayings, because some things aren't that black or white. Some things they may, what I'm saying about they're not that black or white, they may not be that cut or dry as either this or that. Sometimes it's on you. That's where the gray area is. Sometimes you forget on how you fit into the picture, what changes you may need to make to bring color back to that situation. To where it is now black or white. Hey, you know what? I've taken it back to me. This is what I could, change for the better. I can see an improvement here or there. Let me move on. Like I stated earlier when I was talking about being angry with somebody, cutting them off, you being however you're going to be, you're steadily talking about it and carrying on and so forth. That's the reason why we talked in earlier videos about not hanging on to that anger, learning how to move past. All of this is moving towards healthy. It'll allow you to dance to your own beat, so you're not playing that this person has power over me. Remember what I was talking about? Not having to run everything by people because they feel like they have a vested interest in what you're doing. They're checking up on you. No, you're the driver. Especially when you're not asking for a co-pilot. That's my 2 cents on it. Just wanted to, that came across my mind on that, and I just wanted to share that with you. Okay? Stay encouraged, avoid being discouraged. My name's Kilimanjaro. You all have a good one.